Hey guys, what's up? Comics Division here. I really haven't been hearing a whole lot of people talking about this. But DC has this thing, it was announced as Dark Matter, and it's going to be DC's new age of heroes. And they're going to be introducing a lot of really interesting stuff, and it seems to parallel classic Marvel teams as well as characters. So one of the things I like that DC is doing is that they're keeping these books at $2.99, and there's going to be no variant covers. Now, I know that there are some diehards out there that have to collect them all. I am not one of those individuals. I was never into variant covers. I think the only time I let my comic book store talk me into buying variant covers was with the issue Walking Dead 100, and I'm pretty sure I dropped close to $100 just on the fucking variant covers. It's a waste of goddamn money, in my opinion. But you're more than welcome to disagree with me on that one. Anyway, now that we got that bullshit out of the way, first up on the roster is Damage. This title is going to be by Robert Venditti and Tony Daniel. And the story is about Ethan Elvis Avery, who is a soldier. He goes through this government experiment. And guess what happens, guys? Something goes wrong. And he turns into this weapon of mass destruction controlled by the government. Oh, excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Incredible Hulk! Oh, sorry, I had to get that out. So Ethan can only turn into the monster for 1 hour a day, and what the government does is that they're going to use it to cause mass destruction against their enemies. And it leaves Avery having to deal with the damage left in the aftermath. So that's pretty interesting. Again, like I said, you know, it's going to be their version of the Incredible Hulk. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think Damage has the potential to be a better version of the Hulk? Let me know what you think by dropping a comment. Next up we have The Silencer. Now The Silencer is going to be written by Dan Annett and with art by John Romita Jr. This is kind of interesting the way they're describing it as what if the Punisher was a soccer mom? She's a powerful metahuman working behind the scenes, and she's worked with organizations such as Leviathan, as well as working with Talia al Ghul. So she decided to retire and start a family, and then all of a sudden her old life comes knocking at the door, reminding her that she can't escape her past. Now I heard that Punisher 218 is really good, so I picked it up. It is good. So this is something I'm going to be talking about tomorrow night, so not to detract from what we're talking about here. So, will The Silencer be a suitable replacement for the Punisher? Leave a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. The next title is going to be called The Curse of Brimstone. So they're just not going with the typical superhero genre, they're also breaking into horror as well. And DC is promising that this is going to be the next exciting horror title. So it's going to be written by Justin Jordan, and the art's going to be by Philip Tan. So The Curse of Brimstone is going to be following a kid that lives in a long-forgotten town, basically where the industries have dried up and really has no place in the modern world. And in order to try and make their town great again, and he makes a deal with a mysterious stranger who offers him powers. However, it's a bit of a devil's bargain, and it turns out to be a bit of a curse, and he turns into this burning creature. And it sounds an awful lot like Ghost Rider. So I'm pretty excited. From what Tan is saying, he's going to be going full dark on the artwork. And a few of the examples I found online, it actually looks really beautiful. Now, being that Ghost Rider was one of the first titles I collected back in the 90s from Marvel, I am really excited to hear about Brimstone. And as like I said, this art is beautiful. So what are your thoughts, guys? Drop a comment. Okay, so the next title is Immortal Men, and it's going to be written by James Tynion, and it's going to have art by Jim Lee. Now, I really don't know a whole lot about this title, but apparently it does tie in a lot with Dark Knight's Metal. So, Dark Knight Metal is kind of setting the stage, and this is going to continue to build on top of it. There's going to be two warring factions of Immortals, the House of Action and the House of Conquest, and these two Immortal factions, they're fighting over the control of the DC Universe. Because Challenger Mountain has been dropped in the middle of Gotham City during Metal, we're going to be getting a title for the new Challengers, which is going to be a more sci-fi based title. It's going to be written by Scott Snyder, and it's going to have art by Andy Kubert. So I'm guessing this is going to be DC's take on Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what to do next, guys. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts on this. So far, I think the most exciting title to me is Sideways, and it's going to be about a Puerto Rican kid named Derek James who falls through one of the rifts in the dark multiverse, and when he emerges, he comes out with these superpowers. And from what I heard, he is supposed to be DC's version of Spider-Man. Granted, he doesn't have spider powers, but he does have the ability to create these dimensional rifts and go through them. So, I mean, and just looking at some of the art, it kind of looks like Spider-Man as he's, swinging around the city. Except he's traveling through these dimensional rifts rather than swinging around like Spider-Man. So you have a lot of big names attached to Sideways. You have Dan Didio as well as Justin Jordan and art by Kenneth Rocafort. And apparently in the second arc, we're going to be getting Grant Morrison on the writing team. So that's pretty exciting. Next up we have The Unexpected, which is promised to be Seven Samurai meets The Dark Tower. It's going to be written by Steve Orlando with art by Ryan Sook. The team is going to be made up by a bunch of people that hate each other, and they're going to be fighting DC's equivalent to Randall Flagg. So the team consists of Neon the Unknown, who is a blind artist, Firebrand, who is a first responder who has to fight every 24 hours, Viking Judge, which is a woman connected with her axe and lives through one of her ancestors, and finally we have Ascendant, which is basically an orc. Next up we have the Inferior Five, which is going to be like Stranger Things meets Twin Peaks. It's going to be a 12-issue limited run. This is going to focus around Silver Age teen heroes that are heavily connected to DC's 80s continuity. And apparently they're going to be dropped into this town right after the invasion event, and a bunch of really crazy shit's going to happen. And last but not least, we have the Terrifics. Take a guess, guys. What do you think this is going to equate to at Marvel? Wait for it. That's right, the Fantastic Four. So again, it looks like DC is out marveling Marvel again. This title is going to focus a lot on exploration, as the team has basically been dropped into the dark multiverse of metal. It's going to be written by Jeff Lemire. It's going to have art by Ivan Rice as well as Joe Prado. So what are your guys' thoughts on all this? Is DC going to out Marvel? Marvel has released some pretty good books this week, but is it too little too late? But what are your thoughts, guys? Will they continue to respect the fans to get our dollars back? I guess only time will tell. So in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please click that like button. If you're new here and you can tolerate the sound of my voice, hit that subscribe button, punch that bell for instant notifications, and as always, enjoy your reads.